Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I have been traveling a little bit recently, including in sort of mid to late June, I took a week-long trip to Portland. And if you are a book lover and you know about Powell's, the City of Books bookstore in Portland, you might sort of guess where this is going, which is that I went to Powell's multiple times, and I came back with some books. So Portland is great for shopping because there's no sales tax, and so as well as the books, I did get a couple other things which I wanted to just talk about real briefly. The first were a couple movies that I picked up cheap in a used, games and DVD store. They are both Chinese martial arts films that star Donnie Yen in them, because I have a Donnie Yen problem. The first one is Iron Monkey, which I have already watched. It is basically about a masked vigilante who is taking on corrupt politicians in this small town in China. And then the other one, I have no idea what it's about because I haven't watched it, but it's called An Empress and the Warriors, and it looks so bad. I'm so excited. I apparently have recently discovered that one, I have a Donnie Yen problem, which I discovered because of Rogue One, and two, that I really enjoy cheesy Chinese action movies, which shouldn't be a surprise since I love cheesy American action movies. So yeah, I'm excited about those. I also went to the Saturday Market in Portland, which I thought was really fun, and I picked up this ring. I do wear rings pretty much every day. I tend to wear the same ones, but I do change them up a little bit. So I got this one, and I'm just going to show you. I don't know if you can see this. So it's made up of these three rings that are all joined together, and then when you put them on, they roll over each other. And it's really fun to play with, which is one of the reasons that I get rings, is that I like to have something to fiddle with on my hands. So, moving on to the books. If you guys don't know, by the way, what Powell's is, it is a Portland chain of bookstores that is just magical. The main store is an entire city block. It is also about 3 or 4 different stories, and each room has a theme. So there's the gold room, which I spent a lot of time in, which is the science fiction, fantasy, and horror and mystery section. Then there's the blue room, which is literature. There's the pink room, which is for children's literature. It's just, there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's everything. It's everything you could ever want, essentially. So I did get 6 books. The first of these is the Casebook of Sherlock Holmes. I have already read all of the stories in this, but I like to collect editions of Sherlock Holmes. I bought, when I was in Scotland, the Adventures and Return in another used bookstore, and so I just like to pick them up when I go to different places, and I particularly love these mini editions. They've got the gold leaf, they've got the little ribbon bookmark, and I just think that they're really cute and travel friendly. So if I want to pick them up again, I have this cute little version of them. So the next book that I picked up was a collection of Jane Austen's letters. I have read some little excerpts of the letters that she wrote to her cousins and her friends, and she is bitingly funny, and so I have just been wanting to read a more substantial collection of them than the couple little excerpts that I had read, and so I picked this one up for cheap. It was $5 or $6. So I haven't started it yet. This is probably going to be a little ways off because I'm currently reading a nonfiction and I like to space out my nonfictions, but it's not very long, so I don't think it'll take me very long when I get to it. Oh, one thing I forgot to mention about Powell's is that it is both new and used, all put together. I mostly bought used because I can buy books new when I'm not traveling, but one of the books that I like to collect used editions of, although I don't get duplicates, is the Jeeves and Wooster novels, and so I picked up one of those, which is The Mating Season. I don't really know what this one is about because honestly they all kind of sound the same when you read the synopsis on the back, but I have read many Jeeves and Wooster novels and I just find them all delightful. So whatever one this one happens to be, whatever permutation of Bertie getting accidentally engaged or his friends getting accidentally engaged or whatever it is that it happens to be, I'm sure I will enjoy it because I have enjoyed all of them. So the next one that I picked up is actually the only young adult book that I bought while I was there. It is What We Left Behind by Robin Talley. This is a young adult contemporary about these 2 kids who are this couple from high school and they're going off to their freshman years in separate colleges. So one of them is trans or genderqueer and the other one I believe is bi, and so it's about like them sort of figuring out their identities and who they are when they're not with each other and if they're going to stay together and all that kind of stuff. I only read the first few pages while I was in the bookstore, but I'd been hearing about this author and I'd been meaning to check her out for a while, so when I saw a cheap used copy, I thought, why not? So the next book is the only new book that I picked up while I was there, which is Girl Waits with Gun by Amy Stewart. This is a historical fiction mystery novel that is set in the early 1900s, and it is based off of a real person, which is the first female law enforcement officer. I believe she was like the first sheriff or something. I'm not totally sure on that, but her name is Constance Knopp, or Constance Kopp, I guess. That's silly. It's spelled K-O-P-P, so I didn't realize that it was Constance Kopp until I said it out loud. But I have been hearing about this one from, like, everyone, it seems like. So many of my friends have been reading it and loving it, and so it was on sale, and I figured I'd give it a shot. It seems like a fun, interesting read, particularly if it's based off of a real person. And then the last book that I picked up is called London Falling by Paul Cornell. This is an adult fantasy, urban fantasy novel set in London, obviously, about two police constables who sort of get dragged into the, like, magical underworld of London. And I don't know much about it other than that, except that Maggie Stiefvater recommended it, and I just really love urban fantasy, particularly when it's set in London, because I just love London. I fell in love with it when I traveled there last year, and so I'm willing to check it out. So those are all the books that I picked up while in Powell's in Portland. The last time that I went to Powell's, I had to check my carry-on suitcase and just have an entire separate tote bag when I went on the airplane, just completely full of books. So I feel like I showed a lot of restraint this time. But let me know if you've read any of the books that I mentioned down in the comments, and I'll see you guys very soon with another video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye!